Tommy V in Michigan. He was on fire this morning.
Okay, thank you, Tommy V in Michigan. Yes, sir. If you share my prayers.
Tommy V's on. Yeah, we'll jump over there.
Tommy V doing great stuff over there.
Okay. This is State of Michigan versus Daniel Franklin, 24F20559. Mr. Franklin has stated his name already. I will appoint the public defender's office on this matter. Go ahead when you're ready, Ms. Vergils.
Assistant Public Defender Chelsea Vergils, on behalf of Daniel Franklin, we would waive a formal reading of the complaint, stand mute, and ask to address bond.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Ryan.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a homicide charge. This is arising out of a March 26th shooting. The underlining factual allegation is that the defendant shot Alonzo Jones Holly in the head while he was in a vehicle. The recommendation of the prosecutor's office is that bond should be denied pursuant to Michigan Court Rule 6.106 B1A1.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Vergils.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client recently turned 18 and has in the past been working on getting his GED and hopes to continue doing so. Although he does not have a permanent address at this time, he does stay with family in Washtenaw County, intends to stay in the area. His family is supportive and he has a good relationship with them. We would ask you to consider a personal bond with a GPS tether. Given the serious nature of these charges, I understand that that may be unlikely, so we would just ask you to consider not denying bond to allow this young man to get some time served.
Thank you. Okay,
And
Mr.
Your
Franklin,
Honor, just
the
Your Honor.
what? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Ryan.
Just want to note that in addition to the matters that's before the court today for arraignment, there's another pending murder charge that's under consideration with the prosecutor's office as well.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Franklin, bond in the state of Michigan is, there are rules and laws related to the setting of bond, and for a person charged with murder like you are, the court rule is Michigan Court Rule 6.106 sub B, which states the court may deny pretrial release to a defendant charged with murder. It is typical in Washtenaw County that the judges and magistrates deny bond when someone is charged with murder. And so I am denying your bond today. That means that there's no amount of money that you would be able to post to leave the jail. While you are on bond, I'm going to set a few conditions, even though you are going to be in jail, and so your ability to move about freely, of course, is quite limited, but I'm going to set a few conditions anyway. You're not to commit any crimes. You are not to use illegal drugs or possess any weapons. You are not to have any contact with the family of the alleged victim, Mr. Jones Holly, either directly or indirectly. Your court date will be June 13th, approximately 9 a.m. over in person with Judge Simpson. Anything else on this matter?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you're all set. When you're ready, you can stand up and walk to the door.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon. We are here today on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Dujaru Abu Baker, case number 24-0381FY. This is the date and time set for a arraignment in this matter. Appearances, please, for the record.
Assistant Public Defender Jacob Raleigh appearing on behalf of Mr. Abu Bakr for the purpose of his arraignment.
Thank you. And we're appearing via Zoom. Do you and your client consent to this remote hearing?
Yes, we do.
Okay, Mr. Abu Baker, are you able to hear and see me and Mr. Raleigh?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I can hear and see you as well. This is an arraignment. The purpose of this hearing is for me to inform you of the charges against you, the maximum possible penalties, and all of your rights. Mr. Abu Baker, you are charged in this felony complaint in count 1 with the crime of armed robbery. And the complaint alleges that on or about May 30th, 2024, at the location of Snyder Hall at the city of East Lansing, Ingham County, Michigan, you did, in the course of committing a larceny of a pizza, use force or violence against a person present, to wit, James Morgan, and or assault or put in fear a person present, James Morgan, and in the course of that conduct possessed a handgun, a dangerous weapon. The maximum possible penalty for this crime is up to life in prison. And in count 2, Mr. Abu Baker, you are charged, and counts 2 and 3, you're charged with the crimes of assault with a dangerous weapon, otherwise known as felonious assault. And these counts allege that you did make an assault upon James Morgan with a dangerous weapon, to wit, a handgun, but without intending to commit the crime of murder or to inflict great bodily harm less than the crime of murder. These are felonies punishable by up to 4 years in prison and or $2,000. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under state law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. In count 4, you're charged with the crime of carrying a concealed weapon, and the complaint alleges that you did carry a dangerous weapon, to wit, a handgun, concealed on or about your person. This is a felony punishable of up to 5 years in prison or $2,500, and there's a mandatory provision that the weapon or device will be forfeited. In counts 5, 6, and 7, you're charged with the crime of felony firearm. And these counts allege that you did carry or have in your possession a firearm, to wit, a handgun, at the time you committed or attempted to commit the following felonies. For count 5, armed robbery, count 6, felonious assault, count 7, felonious assault. Mr. Abu Baker, these crimes carry a mandatory 2-year term in prison that would run consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony conviction. There's a mandatory provision that the weapon or device shall be forfeited. Mr. Abu Baker, do you understand these charges and the maximum possible penalties?
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
I want you to know you have a right to an attorney to assist you, and if you can't afford an attorney, one will be provided for you at public expense. Mr. Raleigh's here from our public defender's office today. Mr. Raleigh, is Mr. Abu Baker making an application to your office?
Yes, he is.
Okay, Mr. Abu Baker, you will be staying in good contact with Mr. Raleigh and his office. You have a right to a hearing known as a preliminary examination. At that hearing, I would listen to evidence and determine by a probable cause standard whether the crimes alleged were committed and whether they were committed by you. Do you understand your right to that hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. I got a question.
Okay.
My bad.
Oh, go ahead.
I was wondering, when is the hearing?
When is that hearing?
Yeah.
Excellent question, and we're going to get there. I promise. I want you to finally know about your right to a trial, which is very important, Mr. Abu Baker. You'll have many rights available at that trial. And Mr. Raleigh, did you and Mr. Abu Baker discuss those rights?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so we'll be setting this matter for the next hearing dates. Is that correct, Mr. Raleigh?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Abu Baker, the next hearing is called a probable cause conference. That's scheduled for June 14th at 8:30. Then the preliminary examination, which you asked about, is scheduled for June 20th at 9 a.m. Okay, June 20th, 9 a.m. Mr. Abu Baker, the court has an address for you in Lansing on Georgetown Boulevard. Is that a good address?
That's the address from my mom, but right now I'm at the campus or at the village apartments. That's the best address right now.
Mr. Riley, did you get that address?
No, Mr. Abu Bakr was not able to provide me with a specific address.
Or the Lansing that my mom lived there, that would work, so yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's the address the court will continue to use. Mr. Riley, would you like to be heard on bond?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. After speaking with Mr. Abu Bakr, I can report that if he has lived locally in the Lansing area for quite some time. He has family in the area, as he just noted. I don't believe there's any reason to believe that he would be a flight risk or that he would fail to appear at his court hearings. I'm also not aware of any violent or assaultive conduct in the past, although there are, of course, serious allegations with regard to the counts in this case. But certainly I don't have any knowledge that Mr. Abu Bakr is in general a danger to the community or to any specific individuals at this time. So my request would be for a personal recognizance bond.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Riley. Mr. Abu Baker, when I set a person's bond, I need to think about two main factors. One is, will the person appear for all future court dates? I don't have any specific reason to have great concern about that factor with you. The other factor has to do with public safety, and I have serious concerns for public safety vis-a-vis you and these allegations, which are some of the most serious allegations that this court sees. The allegation here is that you were involved in an assaultive offense, and there was a weapon involved, and that you were illegally possessing that weapon in a concealed fashion. And the very little bit I know about the facts are that this was an assault. The allegation is it was an assault on a stranger who was just doing his job. So for all those reasons, the court has great concerns about public safety, and a personal bond I cannot find is appropriate here. So Mr. Abu Baker, your bond is set at $50,000 cash or surety, and you are subject to the following conditions. You must appear as directed. You may not leave the state of Michigan without permission of this court. You must not commit any crime while you are on bond to this court. I'm going to finish, and then if it's appropriate, you can ask a question. Mr. Abu Baker, you may not have any contact with an individual named James Morgan. And when I say no contact, that means contact by any means or mode. You may not call, text, message this person. You may not have a third party contact this person. You may not go you can't be at this person's place of business or residence or place of education. And if you do any of those things, your bond will be forfeited and you'll be subject to immediate arrest. You also may not purchase or possess any firearm. In violation of that condition will also subject you to immediate arrest without a warrant. You must not engage in any assaultive, harassing, or threatening behavior towards any individual. If you are to be released, you must have a GPS tether affixed, and that would be with a 2,000-foot exclusion zone and victim notification to James Morgan. And you must contact pretrial services immediately upon release. Mr. Riley, do you have anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Abu Baker, you and Mr. Riley could speak in a breakout room. I don't want to know anything about the facts. I don't want you to say anything prejudicial to your case, so that might be the best way to go. I'll put you and Mr. Riley in a breakout room where you can speak confidentially. Okay, very good. That's all for this record. And Ms. Lewis, if you could put Mr. Riley and Mr. Abu Baker in a breakout room, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.